overtimes in those 5 maps. So I think we're going to get a pretty tightly contested series.
That's all we asked for. That's all we asked for in this sort of game. And I think Bravado are probably the favorites to win and claim that spot in towards Katowice. But this was the more tightly contested matchup. That's why we're covering this one. And yeah, for nothing else, A-stream time for South African Counter-Strike. Let's have the best CS possible. Let's have a banger.
Absolutely. Players to watch out for on each side. Nixuh is going to have their Opera Frozen, who was their top frag in the regular season at 289 frags and a plus 101 kill to death differential. Also, Nixuh went 7-0 in ESCA main season 44, whereas DNMK went 3-4. But DNMK made it to the grand finals up against Bravado, who ended up winning that, of course. Anyway, opening frag found. Connie is going to take down Blaze for a 5v4 advantage in favor of DNMK.
Freebie stack. For the blue logoed squad. First player facing that Zox in towards CT spawn, but with a player second oranges and a player first oranges. It could have been a great bait setup, but Nixuh, for whatever reason, see that CT player and have made the right read, rerouting in towards A. And there's only 2 in defense. Smoke on towards Moto. That's going to force Carney to make a decision. He comes through the smoke. Nixuh gets the first frozen trades back, but Carney's in a world of trouble, getting swarmed, taken down. And now, with that bomb getting planted, it's looking a lot better for Nixuh from man down to a 3-on-3 after plant.
Okay, Leggy. He's thinking about going through this smoke. Do they have the utility? They do have a flashbang. Zox was going to toss it, I believe, and Leggy goes down right before it flashes, and then Rusty gets the 2K. The man gets the last one onto Zox, and that will be that. Nixuh take the round after taking that site pretty decisively, Alan.
It was a good recovery. I mean, a good read as well to see the CT player and sort of guess that maybe there's more numbers on B. And yeah, they committed into B. I don't think there's any world they win that round. So good decision. A was the easier clear, and good trading, good spacing to make it happen. Onwards and upwards then. Force Spy from DNMK. No surprises there. Couple smokes, and even a FAMAS in the mix. So can still be punchy. You don't want to take these rounds for granted if you're Nixuh.
Definitely not. DNMK, certainly capable here on Inferno. That's Connie. He's got that scout. Waiting, staring down Banana, hoping to find an opening frag. And the man realizing that someone's probably watching this. He hasn't even jiggled across yet, but there is Rusty, who just finds the drive-by headshot onto Connie. And there we have a 5v4 to open things up. Raid's really trapped here behind sandbags, and yeah, the man ventilates him, finds Zox as well, and it's all Nixuh here.
Easy clear. Explosive round. Got out in front of any counter nades. And making it look all too easy. 5 alive. Money in the bank. Perfect start. If you're Nixuh, of course, it is their map pick. We expect some preparation, some ideas, some you know, strategic potentially advantages in this sort of matchup. But to get off to a start like this, and now up against a full eco, you couldn't be any happier if you're Nixuh. And you only showed up to the org 3 days ago.
Yeah, exactly. So they just picked them up, and I mean, it makes sense with the regular season they had in season 44, undefeated 7-0. They only lost 1 map in the regular season, which is why it was so shocking to me that they didn't make it to the grand final. I think we're actually eliminated by DNMK. Let me double check that. And yeah, it was DNMK eliminating them in the lower bracket. Anyway, lots of action happening here while I'm talking, as the Pistols not doing too shabbily here for DNMK, except, well, eventually Rusty will get things under control. Wait, I say that, but hey, gonna get one. Amen.
It's not the easiest one to pronounce. I went Greek when I said it, and in Greek, you'd normally, an X would be like a H.
Yeah.
So, and I said like, I'm an Axa, like, or Asher, I don't know. I'm just gonna say Iman or Amen.
The thing is, he's not the player I was expecting to see here, right? Because usually, well, I mean, the roster's in flux right now on the DNMK side. But Leggy, Raid, Connie, and Zox, the expected ones. The other one that I thought would be here is Nix. And he's not. Unless that is Nix under a different name.
These are the questions.
These are the questions.
These are the
which
questions.
we may never get answers to.
could do an old school ESEA dive into the real names and try and compare it.
Oh
That
God,
is-
dude. I used to do that. I used to go through the rosters and actually look at their name history to try and find out who they were. Because
I'm telling you, Asian Counter-Strike is the worst for this. They also change their aliases all the time, and it's just an absolute nightmare. And there was a scenario where I was certain the player was the same guy as someone else for the whole season, and then I realized it actually wasn't. So I've been
Oh,
selling the fans
really?
misinformation.
Oh my goodness. Hey, it happens, you know? We do our best, but sometimes it slips through the cracks.
If you're listening, players, easy to read names and stay consistent. That's all we ask.
Yes, please. All right, we got the first gun round here for both squads, and it's going to be DNMK with 3 M4s, the op, and make that a 4th M4 as well on their side. And on the Nixuh side, well, they still got 2 Galils that are good to go and a couple of AKs in the op. In fact, their money's looking great as well. They've really done a good job managing their economy in these first 3 rounds. I do believe we had a bit of damage on Banana. Yeah, going both ways, so no one really winning that so far.
DNMK get Banana, and they choose to hold on to it with 2 players. Some mid-nades coming out from Nixuh, and now they're thinking better of it. Zox rotating over, Carney just spamming the smoke as mid is claimed by Nixuh. But Leggy, he's feeling angsty, he's feeling aggressive, pushing back into the angle, gets one, his teammate's already been felled, and that's the sole B player. There's nobody on the site, and Zox has to sprint to try and mount some sort of defense, but it's not going to matter. He rotates now in towards ruins, but this site is already seeded.
Oof. Yeah, and he's going to go down, then frozen through the smoke. Gets Connie. Didn't even see him. Just a lucky shot. Connects, and he's got a 3K on the round. I told you, he is the player to watch here on this Nixuh squad, and for good reason. Not only is he a great operator, he's also a fantastic entry fragger, which he found the entry there on towards the site, and he's also great in the supporting roles. So he plays a lot of roles in this squad, a very important piece.
Yeah, we weren't on board. I'm guessing Frozen killed the lone defender just jump spotting, and I think that was Iman. And as soon as he dies, they're already leading 4 on towards A. It's just trying to recover anything from a bad situation. And thus far, Nixuh making this look extremely clean. Pistol round, they might have gone man down, but their execution was good. Get into this round, and it's looking sensational. The anti-ecos were, on the whole, really clean, and they got plenty of money in the bank. This is an absolute dream start for the new Nixuh squad.
Yeah, no question. And as mentioned, the last time they faced off here, it was quite close. I mean, it went to double overtime, ended up being a win at the end of the day for Nixuh, but 22-18 finals. So yeah, this is a very solid start considering that previous matchup between these two.
I believe for Rotterdam, did Nixuh is not a similar scenario where it was a new roster?
I believe it was, yes.
This is a little bit different because it's kind of an existing entity. I believe for that roster, it was kind of the best pieces we can assemble and pull Sonic out of retirement to play as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. Was it AGM as well that was there? I think, yeah.
ADM was cooling, and then we had Carney in there, who is that man just there. And I believe Carney was touted as the young up-and-coming star on that Nixuh lineup. So he's now up against his old team.
There you go. Let's see if he can make some noise here on the defensive end, because Nixuh's again going towards this B site, and DNMK hasn't really been reinforcing it. They do have a nade and a smoke being tossed here, and now they've realized what's happening. They're rotating almost everyone over. In fact, everyone abandoned the A site with 38 seconds left on the clock. This is just a hard read.
This is going to be a massacre, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is going to be a massacre. 5 in defense, 28 seconds. You have to go. Flash on raid. Sean is about to fly over. Players boosting in CT. We've got players backside. How on earth is this working? Raid boosts up. 2 found. 2 on 2 now. Trade somehow leaning the way of Nixuh as they walk into the jaws of death. Leggy swings and the man finishes it off. How on earth did Nixuh win that?
I don't know, Alan. I honestly have no clue. You're walking into a full-on stack. Usually in those situations, right? You only have 20 seconds left. You have to make the play. When you have the numbers on the site, especially all 5, even if it's just pistols, you usually win that. I don't know how Nixuh fights their way out of that situation. Just very disciplined clearing, I guess, but you don't have the time to do it. They just straight up won the fights, I think.
I'm a little bit blown away. I don't think they even like mollied back site and stuff. So I don't think they had. It wasn't like it was a triple molly exec and we knew the site was cleared and then we just somehow won the duels against the CT players. Somehow they just broke the crossfires, or perhaps more likely those crossfires were never really established. The man hits the deck as finally DNMK on a gun round against an entry. They got full banana control, leading back 4 on towards A. And as long as the lone B player doesn't die quite so easily, this setup should be really good, at least holding off the A side of the map.
And there's a Molotov thrown into lane, and Leggy has to be careful where he steps. Goes down to 82. Nade flies in, so back and forth here we go on bracket as we stare at the fountain for a little bit. Just had to check in on what the fish were doing. Make sure they were not getting antics. Blaze going to get the frag on the Zox. Flexi finds another one, and then Blaze is continuing to move forward again. Nixuh, man disadvantage. They walk in and dismantle the defense of DNMK.
I think we need a pause.
Yeah.
Because the last one wasn't great, but at least you can make some excuses around lesser weaponry and, it's not a standard scenario to be in. Let's say this time we're playing 4 on A, we've got a perfect setup. Nixuh are running possibly the worst call into you, trying to get up short into a stack. And somehow Nixuh are just trading better. I mean, Nixuh are doing a good job with their spacing, and clearly the fragging power is there, but I just feel like DNMK, I mean, if they're going to win this series, they've got to be getting more out of these advantageous scenarios. This is not enough right now.
No, looks like they woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. I don't know what's going on with DNMK. 6-0 for Nixuh. And they are going to have enough on the DNMK side to go for a half by, of course, that $3,400 loss bonus coming through. And that means a couple of scouts, 2 deagles, a P250, and 2 players with armor, and still their money is above 2K across the board. So we'll see. They need the rounds, though. That's the important part right now for the DNMK side. And Connie spots out a player, can't connect the shot, but at least he gets the information.
Yeah, we often talk about these rounds and say, we're really here for economic damage. We'd love DNMK to get 3 or 4 kills, keep the money low, but as this game continues slipping, at what point do these moral victories around economy not matter? We'd love a round. That would certainly do a lot to stem the bleeding. And last time, they did make a good information play on apps. They did have a 5 stack on B, so maybe we can get the right stack again. This time, though,
no,
doesn't look likely, does it?
No, not at all. I mean, it left 1 player behind in Connie. So we could call for the reinforcements. He probably will now. Yeah, they're going to try charging down Banana at this point and seeing if there's any information gained. And if not, then maybe they catch Nixuh, who, if they go too slowly, could suffer some casualties here. Yeah, they're waiting behind a little too long. Here comes DNMK on the flank. A-Man gets 1, but Frozen, Rusty, and Frozen again take care of business. All 4 frags going in the direction of those 2 players, and then Zox is down for the count to Frozen as well. Wow, that could have gone so awry, Alan, but Nixuh managed to hang on, and more than hang on. They only lost 1 player.
Yeah, they actually, and it was the first kill was to them, onto them. They went 4 and 5 for a brief second, but somehow managing to adjust. That looked really scary as getting absolutely sandwiched on the top of mid in towards brackets. But Nixuh seemed to they seem to be quite calm, quite stable in these chaotic situations. We've seen 3 or 4 times now where they're seemingly faced with endless players and reinforcements, and they're still staying composed, finding frags. Banana control yet again for DNMK. They've had this serially during the game, but it hasn't necessarily materialized into rounds. Blaze gets the first little, another player on the porch, swings wide is Carney, but he only goes 1 for 1, and it's just Raid. It's just Raid up against 4, and he can't even find the first. These 2 remaining players, we very well advised to save, because this round is most certainly going the way of Nixuh.
Wow. This is just a clinic right now by Nixuh. A double op setup, all the money that DNMK could hope for in terms of their buy-up, and still yielding pretty much nothing. Only one frag, and I mean, the money is starting to flow here for Nixuh. You're talking about those moral victories not really mattering anymore. Yeah, now it's definitely going to be the case, especially with Nixuh up 8-0.
This one isn't as extreme, but it's another round where DNMK are playing double under porch or two towards that short side, and Nixuh come out into mid. There's no nades facing them initially. They can just go in for their take. And I have to question, what did you want if you were DNMK? Surely you want them to take mid if you're playing into there without putting nades down. So it's not quite as extreme as the other scenarios, but it's still another case where either we need to play different setups or we're trying to play into things and we're not able to hold against what the setup's designed for. It's the machinery clearly is not well oiled at the moment. It looks really janky.
Yeah, there's really no question at all. And I mean, you're looking here, we said it before, where's the timeout for DNMK? Like, they've got to settle things down a little bit. And here we go again. It's just pistols, of course. But Leggy and Zox are already down for the count. Banana and B are free and clear for the taking. You see A-Man is going to try and come around and reinforce that, but there's going to be a smoke in his face, a flash as well. So you'll probably have to go through construction to get any type of visibility.
I am correct in thinking that South Africa still doesn't have a route into the RMRs directly for a qualifier.
I believe
I believe that's the case. I was just having a look.
Yeah.
Because the point I'm going to make is this is probably their most important games domestically of the year.
Yes. I'm fairly confident that you're correct, Alan.
So in that case, why not call some pauses? Take your time. These are the biggest 2 to 3 series you might play the entire year if you're DNMK. And, you know, it might be your opponent's map pick, but you don't want to go into map 2 just getting absolutely flattened and not feeling like we even had a chance to play. We were trying out different setups and it's not working. At what point should we slow this down and have a conversation and get at least some value out of this first map?
Yeah, and again, also my question to them is the map pick as well. Ancient, right? They lost against Nixuh last time they were there 16-9. So it's, I don't know. It's not going to be an easy series for DNMK if they just get flattened here on Inferno. But we'll have to wait and see how things play out. Still a lot of Counter-Strike left. DNMK just need to crack that scoreboard, get the first, and then things can potentially start rolling their way. Will be another full buy-up coming through, and they lose the man immediately. Frozen, opping Connie. Frozen, what's he up to now? 9. He's actually not at the top of the scoreboard. It's the man at 12-2. Ay. Nixuh controlling the pace of play in pretty much every single round.
Welcome everybody to the beta of the CS2 Spectate.
Yes.
Is what it will look like. Well, we can still infer most of the action that's going on. The entry was there. Banana's taken by DNMK. They're actually free on towards B right now. So you get the banana control, but you take a tremendous risk in terms of leaving A open for so long. Mid is snatched back, but I think DNMK are going to get away with it. The bomb not leading this direction. And now it's back on towards Banana. Leggy, alone in defense. Only 1 kill to his name so far. Makes that 2, but we need a whole lot more because he's the only man on this B side of the map. Second found. And even a mid kill from Flexi. So
yeah,
trades are there, 3-on-3. And DNM are actually really stabilizing here. This is their best chance in the round for a long time.
Yeah, I think the only problem for them is Flexi because he's got this control of Boiler. He already found himself actually one frag. There was one earlier on by someone else, but now that means they're going to rotate back to the A site, and this is the weekend one because they gambled. They went to B, figuring that would be the final destination. Now it's up to Ray to stand on his head here to literally defend against the complete take of this site. 13 seconds left, and he does get the opener. Do they get the plant off? They will, and the frag onto Ray, but it's a 2v2 and very viable here for DNMK to try and go for that retake, but Rusty takes down Leggy, and now Zox has to question, does he go for this one? They need the rounds, but their money's not exactly there either. He says, you know what? I'm sending this.
Plays on the angle. Rusty can play off the contact. Has to win the first duel. Just about to see what's going on as Zox swings. Now, playing towards Cold isn't facing. Blaze finds the frag. And it's 10-0.
Jeez.
10-0. And they might have lost the first kill here, but after Leggy starts fragging a little bit on towards Banana against the retake, it looked good. It looked really good. 3-on-3, and Nixuh running out of time to make a decision. But again, as soon as we get into these more late round scenarios where it's more reliant on the team play and the aim rather than the overall strategy or the nades, it just seems to crumble. So it's just a little bit disappointing. Of course, Nixuh looks absolutely amazing so far. But
yeah,
you know, as you said going into this one, we've got a history here of some close matchups, and well, it's kind of been anything but so far.
It's weird, right? I guess you never really know what to expect. And again, our sample size is so very small, right? Only 5 maps played. Still, I mean, every single time it was very tightly contested, and this time it's just Nixuh all the way. We do have a timeout being called here. I'm not sure if it's of technical nature or what, but either way, it's good for DNMK to talk things over and try something different, and then they are. They're going to send Raid right down the middle, trying to find an opening frag. The thing is, he was spotted up before really connecting on anything, and he's taken care of easily. That was the only rifle for DNMK into the round. And, well, probably the only chance as well, because they have already lost Connie.
Nixuh have done a great job of keeping these rounds clean.
Yeah.
Up against the pistols. Flex here taking a bit of a duel, but he can call out he's seen 2. Should be an easy move now if you're Nixuh just to clear on towards B. And once their smoke fades, they should be running in. Okay, all right, they're turning around. Why not? There's only 2 players left, I guess. It doesn't really make sense, John, because they knew it was definitely solo B. But I think they've got the weaponry advantage here to make this work anyway. Might lose a few guns in the
what's
mix.
happening?
Zox collects 2. It's a nice pair of frags.
Oh
Please
God.
go B! Go B! Finally!
I don't... Alan, I agree with you. I don't understand. They get the frag anyway, but they lost bodies for no reason.
They have the money that it doesn't matter, but
yeah,
he's a bit mad.
But the execute was perfect. They had the smokes, everything guised off. They could have just walked into the site, and then they fall off. Anyway, whatever. They won the round. They got the money. Let's not question it too much because they have played pretty solid up to this point. 11-0 in their favor. And DNMK, I mean, you're running out of time here in this first half to even have any sort of an impact. One thing I want to highlight as well is that Leggy play on Banana. I thought it was really solid. The only mistake DNMK made there is probably reinforcing the B site before Leggy made final confirmation that the rotation, I shouldn't say the rotation, the execute was going to come in that direction.
Zox.
Oh, geez.
So much utility going his way. You've got a bit of a tricky angle around this smoke onto the deep molly, and this is not looking good. Carney might be on location, but up against 3 players. What can he offer in defense? Frozen is so confident with these fights. So aggressive. He's in front of the nades. And despite the endless reinforcements on this round, it still looks impossible for DNMK. 2-on-4. A side's just been seeded. They've lost both sides, John.
Oh my God.
Unless Leggy can have the highlight of this qualifier, this round is not going back in their favor. First is found. Bomb is out in towards Paul on his left-hand side. Flexi, though, with this flank, surely is going to secure it. And now left alone. Left alone. Bomb's even sprinting over towards A. These rotates are just ridiculous. I don't know how Leggy survived all of this. But somehow we're in a 2-on-1.
He gets 3, 2. That's ridiculous. I don't think I've ever seen that type of scenario where you take B and then you take the bomb from that position in towards A. Wow. And escape the view of the op, too.
Oh, that was almost like a strat roulette moment.
Yes.
That was excellent. Well, Leggy does have a kit. But unless he can readjust his aim in time, it's not going to matter. And the other thing is, John, that they're not even saving guns here. It's not like we're getting repeat buys and, you know, keeping, you know, a lot of economic pressure on. Now they're starting to honestly, I'd say, tilt buy, or maybe at least recognize that 2 is not going to be enough on the T side, going to the T side of Inferno. So, I don't know, man. Just give us something. Give us some aggression. Give us, you know, start playing a bit more risky. Just give us a game, because I haven't seen one yet.
No, I agree with you. I don't understand why, excuse me, Leggy's even going for that, because he could have saved the off, right? It would have been way more potent into this round. He's been so good with it, or at least the only bright spot, I would say, for DNMK. Rusty's going to make it look easy with the 3K. There's the 4th. No, Blaze steals it away from him because he ran out of bullets, but it doesn't matter. I'm sure they're happy with the fact that they're going to take a 13th round here pretty easily. There you go. And, of course, the economy is not going to settle in for DNMK that well because they're forcing up, but Leggy did go for a bit of a save there, so he will have the AWP back in his hands. But down 13-0, Alan. It's already really, really bad.
You could just see by I'd say the body language, if that makes sense, of Rusty in that round just looked like we know we're flattening them. We're super aggressive. We know we can win every single gunfight. And that's why DNMK have to just get some rounds on the board. They just have to get a feel for the Counter-Strike. They have to warm themselves up. Because in terms of just flat-out duels, this has not been a contest. Oh. Canny somehow kisses up against Rusty. Frag is found. Trade is there from Frozen. But honestly, John, I don't mind this from DNMK. Anything to just disrupt how Nixuh are playing is kind of a win at the moment.
Yeah, 3 players stacked up at top mid, and Blaze goes down for the count to Leggy. I think this is the first 4v3 advantage DNMK have found, at least the only one I remember. It's going to be a couple of players going towards Banana here for Nixuh, and there's 2 players stacked up on top of each other. A-Man at the top of it, and they could do some damage here. This could be their first round picked up unless Frozen gets a frag here. He won't, but he spots the 2 players. What do? They got a full minute here, Alan, to think things over.
It's a heavy B lean. It feels like a little bit too much.
Yes, I agree.
It feels like we know got a man advantage. Players are low, thank God. Raid here. I thought he's going to stay alive off the back of the peak, but he decides to swing for the frag, and
like
that was not needed. The rotator so far off. Moto Smoke blooms in the end. But these players are super low. If they can somehow isolate Jules, maybe this is recoverable. But without nades, without a kit, everything's going against them. Frozen spots the jumping boost there in towards the older mini pit. And do you go for this? Do you save? Pick your poison, because I don't see either world working.
I like the idea, at least from Leggy, with the run boost, but he will fall, and Frozen gets the last one. Another 3K for Frozen. He's up to 13. Everyone's popping off here for Nixuh. I think there's only a frag spread of 5. Yeah, Rusty at 16 at the top and Flex at the bottom with 11. Wow. 14-0. I could not agree more with you there, by the way, Alan, in terms of the over-rotation, over-commitment to the B site. You have the 4v3 advantage. Keep 2 players on each site. What's the harm in that? Especially considering you just had contact with Frozen towards B. You pushed him back and didn't really take much damage in the process. It's very interesting decision-making. Now they're just going to rush down mid here. Frozen gets the opener. Leggy is dropped. Raid finds a trade, but, I mean, will they get anything out of this? Perhaps. Zox, a 2K.
Oh my lord. It's getting frisky in towards mid. Okay, where are we? The bomb is in T-spawn. Iman here has collected the AWP off the ground and decides to move. And you can see Flexi is real scared of Iman being nearby. So better late than never, I guess. This round is looking quite possible.
What?
Is Flexi going to move? Is he really just going to sit here the whole round?
I don't know. I think he's waiting to get some kind of audio cue. What?
Did he? He must have DC'd. He must have DC'd. There's no other explanation. Well, that was a half a Counter-Strike. 14 rounds for Nixuh. They lose a round at the end on some interesting circumstances, and as we go into the second half, it feels like the only question we need to answer is, how much longer is this map going to take?
everyone, welcome back here to the first BO3 of the day between Nixuh and DNMK in the South African ESL Challenger Katowice closed qualifier. And Nixuh has just controlled the flow of play from beginning to end, well, almost end here, Alan. 14-1 in their favor. And what a strange finish to that first half. I don't think I've ever seen a disconnect determine the outcome of the round like that at the end of a half, Alan.
I will say, thankfully, this game already looked over. If the game had been in the balance and that sort of thing happens, that is a heart wrencher if that happens to your team. But here comes the execute. There's only 2 on towards A. Rusty in towards Cold. Flexi collects the first. The crossfire is working to perfection as Flexi collects the second. Goodness. Rusty with the dualies going wide. Akimbo frags found. What a perfect hold from the lesser defended bomb site at the end of the day.
I mean, that was a beautiful crossfire, and just goes to show you how incredibly impressive those those dualies can be on a pistol round. Rusty using them to perfection, jumping up to 19 frags on the scoreboard, taking that frag lead for Nixuh. I was gonna say, well, maybe if Nixuh lose 16-14, Alan, they'll be like, oh, that disconnect is terrible. I can't believe DNMK came back, but it doesn't feel like that. No, obviously it's impossible.
Could be overtime.
Yeah.
Could be overtime.
Yeah.
Looking less likely now. Trade is found though. Blaze hits the deck. Only one player over towards A as he's rotates here, and this is not looking good now. Turning into a massacre. Deagle frags somehow collected in response. Flexi's in towards CT spawn. He's got a full kit nade. He's just going to go through. He's just going to go through. So aggressive. Wanted to end the map here and now. And we're left in a one-on-one. Zox falls in towards new box. Rusty, no kit on him at the moment. Maybe there's one on the ground as Zox is readjusting, getting him towards. Dart gets caught. Rusty gets the kill. And that's going to be the scoreline. 16-1 for Nixuh. A map which was as close as can be for these teams last time around. Could not have been any more one-sided. The sole round win comes from a disconnect. Not a true round win in my books.
Yeah, it's closer to 16-0 than 16-1, I would say. But they got away with it. They escaped the 16-0 just barely. And I mean, there's not really much to take away from this one if you're